Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 29 of the video series in which we program an entire video game from scratch in the C programming language. So, we still need to finish this screen size and resolution thing that we've been working on for a couple episodes. So our game's resolution, as we've said, is 384 by 240. That's actually a 16 to 10 aspect ratio, and that is sort of weird considering that most people, myself included, are using 16 to 9 aspect ratio monitors right now, but that's okay. It simply means that we have to resize our game. These pink bars over on the sides are from basically I want to maintain our game's 16 to 10 aspect ratio, but I can't make it any bigger than this, or else it would blow out our monitor size. It would be bigger than our monitor size. So this is the largest that the game can be. This is the largest it can be drawn without without either messing up the aspect ratio or being larger than the monitor that we're drawing on. As for these pink bars, it gives me another idea that what we need to do is we need to also have another option in here for full screen, I believe, and if you opt to have the game in full screen, then we will draw the bars, and obviously they won't be pink or purple when we're done. There'll be some other, I don't know, they'll either be black or they'll have some sort of texture. For example, if I were to look up a video game like Doom 93, alright, if you look at this image right here on the right, notice that they actually have the exact same kind of bars on the side of the game, and these bars are just painted with a texture of some sort. We'll probably do something along those lines. Alright, so what I've done is, the only thing I did off camera since last time was that I added a little bit of logging. I can go ahead and stop that. I added a little bit of logging. You can see it right here. Current scale factor 6 will draw at 2304 by 1440. And that is the result of that calculation where we figure out what is the biggest size that we can draw the game at without surpassing the size of the monitor. If I were to, let's see, personal, so 384 divided by 240, that's our resolution. That's 1.6. That's a 16 to 10. 16 divided by 10 is also 1.6. So 384 times 6 is 2304, and then 240 times 6 is 1440. So it just works out conveniently that the vertical screen size matches the size of my monitor. All right, let's try to knock this out today. I really want to get this done. What we need to do is go to load registry parameters, and it occurs to me that we actually don't need we don't need to be storing window height and window width in here at all. All we need is a scale factor, right? And in here, let me see, I think we already have a scale factor. Yeah, I know we do. It's in our, actually no, I don't know that to be true. Let's go to registry parameters, registry parameters, which is right there. Okay, window height and window width, we don't need those. I'm going to make the scale factor. Okay. Scale factor. Scale factor. Alright, if it's not found, then the registry value scale factor was not found using default of 0. Alright, and then scale factor is %d registry params dot scale factor. And then we don't need window height whatsoever. Okay. Now that we've loaded that, let's go back to create main game window. And alright, this is in create main game window. We just figured out our max monitor size, monitor width, monitor height. Okay. I don't think we need that. Alright, hang on, let me think about this. Let's calculate our scale factor first before we do this piece. I probably just need a fresh approach to this. Alright, monitor width, monitor height. We have our scale factor. Alright, we'll say if G registry params dot scale factor equals 0, which means we're default. It's the default value. Alright, current scale factor equals max scale factor. Else, we will just do G performance data dot current scale factor equals G registry parameters scale factor. Okay, I think all that could probably be deleted. Let's make a full screen. Let's make a new registry parameter called full screen. Let's go to load registry params. Okay, sound effects, music. Alright, let's copy this. Paste. Screen. Dot full screen. Screen using default of 0. to create main game window now. Create main game window. Now, when we actually position the window, we'll do if full screen else, do that. And so if it's full screen, we already know that this code is not correct. Window, because we never assigned to window width and window height, did we? Well, it's full screen, so we're going to do monitor width and monitor height. Let me run that and see if it still looks correct. No, messed it up pretty bad. Messed it up pretty bad. Width and height. Yeah, all that stuff is still correct. Scale factor, full screen. Oh. Of course. Full screen was 0, so we never ran this code. Let's okay, so now this code is we're basically not running at full screen, so we need to just center this on the desktop, and I feel like we're basically just going to be eliminating those purple bars on the sides. Alright, so this is the top left corner of the screen. Let me see if I can. Alright. Performance data dot monitor width divided by 2 minus the width of our window, which is what? Which is going to be game resolution width times scale divided by 2. So I think that will create the game window, the top left corner, somewhere in this vicinity. Alright, and then the top of the window, where is the top going to go? I think it's just going to be the same. Let's just try to center it. Monitor height divided by 2 minus game resolution height times G performance data dot current scale factor divided by 2. Okay, that is the X and Y, but we also need to have the width and height of the window will be, it's just going to be identical to width times G performance data dot current scale factor. Game res height times G performance data dot current scale factor. Conversion from dword to uint8. That's fine. Okay. Let me just get these out of the way. I don't know why I just commented them out. Alright, let's see what that looks like. Close. Close, but no cigar. So what went wrong here? I think maybe we're just drawing. Let me go back over here to render frame graphics. Could be that we're just drawing our buffer in the wrong spot. Hmm. We did monitor. We never assigned anything to window width and window height, did we? So if we're in full screen mode, then our window width and monitor width are going to be identical. Our window size and monitor size are going to be identical. Okay. But if we're not full screen, then what is our window width going to be? G performance data dot window width is simply going to be this size. It's not going to have any border or anything like that. It's just going to be the exact size of the drawing surface. Window height. Now, if we go back to render frame graphics, alright, it's not going to make any difference. Okay, the x-coordinate of the upper left corner of the destination rectangle. Width. Isn't that... Yeah, that's fine. Alright. I'm going to replace these things with a point. Monitor size, point. Window size. Point is simply another data structure that has a width and a height. Okay, which means we'll have to go back and fix a lot of this stuff, but that's fine, it wasn't working anyway. I usually find that when you're having a hard time getting something to work correctly, rewriting it from scratch is often the fastest way to make it work, because you usually figure out what you did wrong the first time by combing back through it. Alright, we start off by creating our window. It's regular 640 by 480 default at a default location. Alright, monitor width is going to be, it's going to change to monitor size dot it really sucks that IntelliSense doesn't do anything for us here. .x. Like, where is IntelliSense right now? Where is it? Okay. that is not what I want. Maybe. Okay, if I change this from a point to a rectangle, a rect is a data structure that has an upper left, an upper right, a bottom left, and a bottom right. So it has 4 points. So instead of a one-dimensional point, now it's a two-dimensional rectangle. I think that's probably what we need. All right. But we already have that, don't we? We literally already have a monitor rect. Monitor. Right and left. All right, we'll fix this full screen later. Don't need these right now. All right, let's make this easy on ourselves. Okay. Left, which is probably going to be 0. But remember a while back when we were talking about this monitor geometry, and I mentioned how people can have multiple monitors, and they can have monitors that are like up here and down here, and monitors that are turned on its side, and then they can flip their monitors around, and all that stuff adds up to all. I say all that to say that this might not be zero, so we'll have to experiment with that. And then of course the y coordinate will simply be top. Okay. Now, here's what I think we need to do actually. The issue here, well, let me just run this. Well, I can't run this, so I need to of the destination. Yeah, it's going to be right there, 0, 0, right? The destination, 0, 0. All right. Now, what I think will happen if I run this now is that we will get a I think we'll have a little bit of real estate over here on the right hand side of my monitor that is still open because we're technically in windowed mode right now. Why do we have why is the taskbar there? That's not what I want either. It does need to be centered. I think I'm about to go back to making this a full screen only game. Width, monitor height. Forget all about full screen. Render frame graphics. Okay, right minus left. Oh. Divided by 2. Minus that divided by 2. Scale factor 1. There it is. There's our game running at a 1-to-1 scale, 384 by 240 pixels. Option screen. Okay. Let's go to render. Let's go to draw option screen. I think this needs a fade in, just like the other game states have. So let's do that first. Actually, let's delete this first. Let's go to draw title screen. Options. Option screen. We need to reset these. Oh, yeah, let's just that away, delete all that. Last frame, scene, looking for encounter, don't need that, don't need that. Color. Change these to text color. And change that to text color. I'm not sure I like how that looks. That's okay, we can deal with it later. What I want to do now is draw lit string to buffer let's go ahead and make a string to hold the string representation of our screen size, and we're going to put something in there. Sn printf. We're going to put it into our buffer, screen size buffer, screen size string. Buffer count will be size of screen size string, and it will be %d times %d. And then it's going to be game res width times g performance data dot scale. Game res height times performance data dot scale. Not system time, scale factor. Blip string to buffer. Screen size string. Font sheet G 6x7 font. Color will be text color, and then the X coordinate will be, I guess it will be 240 and 100, 115, so 130. You know, instead of programming in all these magic numbers, what I could do is look at the menu and screen size. G options, G menu, screen size dot X, wait, dot Y. Okay. And if we're going to do that there, we should probably go ahead and do it here to be consistent. Option screen dot G options screen using volume dot Y. Alright, looking good. Now the next thing we need to do is implement when we hit that, it needs to change the scale factor. Okay. Process player input option screen. All that stuff is fine. Menus. Screen size. There it is. There it is. Okay. If G performance data, this is the function, this is what happens when we hit enter or the select button while on the screen size item. If current scale factor is less than max scale factor, then the current system time is killing me. Plus. Okay, we'll increment the scale factor, and otherwise we will wrap around G performance data dot current scale factor equals 1. Let's see how that works. It's kind of trippy. It almost works, except for the fact that it doesn't. Now I think I can explain what's happening here. Is that our back buffer is in the very center of the screen, but all of this stuff around us, all of this stuff around the back buffer, remember that is simply a Win32 window, a UI element, and since it's not being updated or moved in any way, Windows is not invalidating it, it's not redrawing it. So remember a long time ago when we first started talking about how Windows, the Windows operating system, draws windows, it does it in a very efficient way such that it doesn't redraw the windows constantly. It only redraws portions of the window that it thinks it needs to redraw. And it saves a lot of energy and a lot of CPU cycles by doing that, by only drawing portions of windows that need to be redrawn. So we need to send Windows a signal that tells Windows you really need to redraw this window. And I think you do that by doing invalidate rect game window. Let me look up. I think if I pass null, it will just invalidate the entire window. But let's see. Invalidate rectangle. Okay. If this parameter is null, the entire client area is added to the update region. And then erase specifies whether the background within the update region is to be erased when the region is processed. Okay. I think that sounds like a good idea. Let's do null and true. Alright, now let's see what happens. Works perfectly. So we cycled between 2304 by 1440, back down to 384 by 240, 768 by 480, 1152 by 720, 1536 by 960, 1920 by 1200, and 2304 by 1440. And those are all 16 to 10 resolutions. So we're staying true to our aspect ratio no matter what the screen size is or what the scale factor is, right? Cool. All right, finally that part works. Let's go back to draw option screen. I want to do something here. If text color dot no. Basically, I don't want to draw these grayed out boxes until the screen transition is completely done. That's my reasoning here. I just think it looks better. Okay, let's see what it looks like now. Okay, that's awesome. Now, I want to create another function for saving all of the options to the registry, and I want to make it so that when you leave the options screen, all of those settings that you set in the options screen are saved to the registry. So that way, the next time we launch the game, we will launch the game with the same settings as when we left it. So we don't have to reset the options every single time we launch the game, right? Okay, so where should we do that? Let's do it right next to load registry parameters. dword save registry parameters. Okay. Load registry parameters. There we go. It's essentially just going to be a copy. I'm copying a lot of the stuff out of the load registry parameters function. Return results. All right. Position. All right. Key all access. Just copy all of these out. Okay. So I think the function is called, like, this is reg get value a. I think there's simply a reg set value a as well. Let's try that. All right, let's see. Sorry. Reg set value a. Subkey type data. Yeah, that seems to do the trick. Let me look it up though. Reg set value a. Sets the data. See, we can't use this. Sets the data for the default or unnamed value of a registry key. The data must be okay. This application should use reg set value ex. That's what we need to be using. Okay. Reg key. Make sure this is the ASCII version. All right. value name. So what do we have to save? Sound effects volume, SFX volume, reserved will probably be BB0, the type, say reg set value, yeah, we did all that, reserved, type, registry value types, it's going to be a D word, reg D word, and then a pointer to the data, so I guess it'll be G, wait, no, GFF, G, sound effects volume, which is a float, times 10. Is that how that works? Sorry. Keyword CV data. CB data. Oh wow. Here we go. The size of the information pointed to. That's easy. Alright, now let me think about this. Our sound effects volume is 0.5. So 0.5 times 10 would be 5, right? So I guess that's right. Okay, and let's see what the return value of this thing is. It returns error success. If the result is not error success, we need to exit. I mean, should it really be fatal if we fail here? I don't think so. I think I'll just log the error like, hey, we failed to save this to the registry. Failed to set SFX volume in the registry. Error code 0x%08LX. Function and result. SFX volume, music volume, music volume. We need to set scale factor. Current scale factor. Scale factor. SFX volume equals GSFX volume times 10 keyword music volume equals G music volume times 10 that. Okay. Finally, the compiler has run out of things to complain about. We need to go to menu item, options screen, back. So when the player hits the back button on the options screen, that is the moment we're going to save the options to the registry. So if save options to registry, which is not what I named it. What did I name it? Save registry parameters. If save registry parameters is not error success, then we are going to complain about it, but we're not going to terminate the game because saving options to the registry is probably not a fatal error. Error. Save registry parameters failed. Function and no, forget it. I'm not going to log the error code here because we already logged the error code inside the save registry parameters function, so it doesn't matter. Okay, should be good to go. I'm going to hit play. Then I'm going to source pose B get content where are you? There it is. Okay, music volume, Everything looks good there. Turn these up to 10. Turn the screen size to 1. Hit back. Nothing was logged, so I guess it succeeded. Run it again. Now we have our screen size. It was saved because it was in the registry. Our volume did not work though. Our volume got reset to 1. It was supposed to be 10. Screen size is good. Our options, our sound effects volume is now 1 when it was supposed to be 10. So we're doing something wrong. What are we doing wrong? Probably casting something incorrectly. Where is save? Registry parameters. Set a breakpoint in here. Let's options. All right. Sound effects volume is now 10. Music volume is 10. Ten, 10, 6, 10. All that stuff looks correct. All these got saved correctly. So is it that is the loading incorrect? Load registry parameters. Log level, scale factor. Oh, why don't we look at the log? Maybe the log will tell us. Yeah, they say 0 right there. Alright, well, we'll have to finish that up next time. Because I think we are well out of time today. And we got a couple things done. Right? We got our resolution, or not resolution, but we got our screen size thing done, and you know, I wanted to sort of instead of drawing the black bars around the edge of the screen, I kind of wanted to do a window so that people could see the other windows that were behind it, so that it could be just sort of a windowed game instead of a full screen game. But that turned out to be a lot more complicated than I thought, and I would have to put more thought into it before doing that. So I went back to just having the game be full screen only, and that's fine for now. Yeah, and then we made a load registry parameters or save registry parameters function, which saves all of our stuff into the registry, which is nice. We do need to debug. Let's see. Finish the customizable windows. All right. Customizable window size in the option screen. We basically did that. And save volume and window size to registry. We basically did that. All right. So that's pretty much done. Next time we'll be probably moving on to the character naming screen, maybe a shadow effect. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and if you have any comments, please leave your comments on the video and I will address them in an upcoming episode. And don't forget we have a companion GitHub repository. Go to GitHub, download, clone the repo. You can follow along at home. And I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Until next time, bye.